The intersection of international football and rising geopolitical tensions between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the United States has turned the 2026 FIFA World Cup into something far bigger than a sporting event. What should have been a celebration of global unity is increasingly being framed by many voices in the region as a stage for competing narratives, symbolism, and political messaging. Iranian officials, media voices, and affiliated social media campaigns have repeatedly highlighted what they describe as a deep contradiction. The United States is co-hosting one of the world's biggest sporting tournaments, while at the same time being accused of supporting or carrying out military operations, blockades, and airstrikes across West Asia. In that framing, the World Cup is no longer being presented simply as a festival of football. It is being reimagined as a political symbol in its own right. That message has appeared in powerful visual campaigns online. One widely circulated image shows the FIFA World Cup trophy placed on top of a base made of skulls, with the tournament itself renamed the War Cup. The symbolism is unmistakable. It is designed to argue that behind the pageantry of global sport lies a reality of violence, grief, and geopolitical power struggles. For those pushing this narrative, football is not separate from politics. It is one more front in the battle over international public opinion. Iran's national football team has not remained distant from that messaging. Instead, the team has increasingly used its international profile to draw attention to what it describes as the human cost of the war. Rather than keeping sport and politics completely separate, the team has incorporated wartime symbols directly into its public appearances and World Cup preparations. When the squad arrived at its World Cup base camp in Tijuana, Mexico, after traveling on a private flight from Turkey, every player and member of staff stepped off the plane wearing matching gold-colored lapel pins attached to their blue blazers. The pins were marked with the number 168. A reference to the 168 elementary school girls reportedly killed on February 28 during a missile strike on the Shajar Tayan school in the southern port city of Minab. The gesture was silent but unmistakably political and deeply emotional. This was not an isolated act. It followed another carefully staged moment during Iran's pre-World Cup friendlies in Antalya, Turkey. Before one warm-up match, instead of entering in standard tracksuits, the players lined up for the national anthem while holding children's school backpacks in shades of pink and purple. The imagery was deliberate. Backpacks, blood-stained shoes, flowers, and school items have been elevated by Iranian state officials and sympathetic networks as symbols of wartime mourning. By carrying those objects onto the field, the team forced television audiences, football officials, and international observers to confront the civilian cost of conflict in a setting that is usually meant to avoid such realities. Iranian players have also spoken publicly about the pressure of representing their country under such conditions. Several have said that their World Cup participation is for the people of Iran, especially during what they call a period of special circumstances. They have acknowledged the war, the emotional burden of following the news from home, and the responsibility they feel to bring some sense of pride or joy to supporters enduring hardship. One message repeated by players has been that even though they are footballers whose duty is to play, train, and prepare for competition, they are also fully aware that their people are going through tremendous difficulty. In that sense, stepping onto the pitch is not only about sport. It is about carrying the flag, representing the nation, and trying to deliver some form of emotional relief to people back home. They have emphasized the importance of unity. The idea that the team is one body under one flag, trying to show the strength of Iranian players and the wider Iranian people to the world. At the same time, they have admitted that the political reality cannot be fully separated from the tournament. News from home, concerns about war, and the emotional weight of representing a country in crisis inevitably affect the minds of both players and supporters. Some have spoken about the challenge of staying mentally clear while also remaining connected to events unfolding in their homeland. They have described their duty as both athletic and symbolic, to compete strongly, to show they deserve to be on that stage, and to make Iranians around the world proud, whether inside the country or abroad. That global Iranian audience is itself a major factor in the story. Players have noted that there is a large Iranian population living in the United States and across North America, and they expect significant support in the stadiums. That support, however, comes with pressure. Expectations are high, emotions are intense, and many fans in attendance may have very different political identities, loyalties, and views about what the team represents. This brings us to one of the most sensitive aspects of the tournament: the dispute over flags. The geopolitical friction surrounding Iran's participation has now extended directly into stadium security policy. According to reports, FIFA's stadium guidelines for the 2026 World Cup may restrict or ban the entry of Iran's historic lion and sun flag into venues in cities such as Los Angeles, Seattle, and Vancouver. That symbol, long associated with earlier periods of Iranian history, has been widely adopted by members of the diaspora and by opposition groups who reject the legitimacy of the current government in Tehran. For many Iranians living abroad, especially in places like Los Angeles, the lion and sun flag is not just a political symbol, but an emotional expression of identity, memory, and resistance. As a result, any move to restrict it inside World Cup stadiums has sparked anger and accusations of selective censorship. Critics argue that if football authorities claim sports should remain outside politics, then selectively banning one historical national symbol while allowing another turns that neutrality into a political act itself. They see it not as a neutral security measure, but as a choice that privileges one definition of the Iranian nation over another. The pressure for such restrictions reportedly comes directly from Iranian football authorities. According to these reports, officials insisted that their continued participation in the tournament depended on a strict ban on what they described as unrecognized alternative or opposition flags within and around the stadiums. Their position is that only the official flag of the Islamic Republic should be permitted in connection with the national team. This puts FIFA and local organizers in a difficult position. On one side, FIFA is dealing with the demands of a recognized member federation that insists on exclusive control over the symbols associated with its national team. On the other side, the tournament is being hosted in North America, where domestic legal traditions surrounding freedom of expression can limit how broadly peaceful political symbols may be restricted in public or semi-public environments. That means the issue is not only political, but legal. While FIFA may want to avoid confrontation, local laws in the United States, Canada, and Mexico may make it difficult to enforce a sweeping ban on non-violent historical flags carried by spectators, particularly if those flags are not explicitly promoting violence or hate. As a result, what might seem like a simple security guideline has become a much larger struggle over legitimacy, sovereignty, and identity. To Iranian state authorities, Team Melli is an extension of official national representation. To sections of the diaspora, the stadium is one of the few global spaces where they can visibly challenge that representation. And that tension is not happening in isolation. It is taking place while the Iranian delegation itself is reportedly facing restrictions from the US government. Reports suggest that multiple high-ranking Iranian Football Federation officials, including senior administrators, have experienced delays or denials in obtaining visas because of alleged links to state or security institutions. If accurate, those restrictions have forced the team into an unusually complicated logistical arrangement. Rather than operating like other teams with a stable base inside the main host country, Iran has reportedly had to function from Mexico and travel into the United States only on match days. That transforms the tournament from a straightforward football campaign into something that also looks like a test of political endurance, bureaucracy, and symbolic survival. In that environment, every movement takes on added meaning. Every arrival, every flag, every anthem, every pre-match gesture, every interview, every image shared online. The 2026 World Cup, at least in Iran's case, is not just about tactics, group stage matches, or tournament progression. It has become a stage on which multiple struggles are playing out at once: state against opposition, sport against politics, symbolism against regulation, and national grief against international spectacle. For the players, this creates a burden few teams at the tournament will have to carry in the same way. They are expected to compete at the highest level while also acting as symbols of endurance, grief, patriotism, and national pride. Supporters want victories, governments want legitimacy, diaspora groups want recognition, broadcasters want a clean sporting narrative, security officials want control, and the players stand in the middle of all of it. That is why this story matters beyond football itself. It is about how global sporting events are no longer insulated from the conflicts shaping the modern world. It is about how symbols that once seemed confined to political spaces now appear on uniforms, in stadiums, and during anthem ceremonies. It is about how national teams can become both ambassadors and battlegrounds at the same time. And it is also about something broader: the struggle over who gets to define reality in front of a global audience. Is the 2026 World Cup a festival of unity hosted by powerful nations? Or is it, as Iran's messaging suggests, a stage built over war, grief, and contradiction? That battle over meaning is already underway, and it is not being fought only by governments. It is being fought by players, supporters, broadcasters, diaspora activists, football officials, and millions of people online who are trying to decide what this tournament really represents. By the time the first whistle blows, the football will matter, but so will everything surrounding it. Because for Iran, this World Cup is not simply a sports competition. It is part performance, part protest, part national mission, and part geopolitical confrontation played out in front of the entire world.